Nut Nerd Podcast, episode 295, Your Ambiance is Sketch.
Welcome to the Nut Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, kinda, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Yes, I am across part of the world. Actually, I'm just in another state at a youth camp that I go to every year. We should have recorded before I left. It's funny how we think of those things after we're already gone. But I am here, and I'm dedicated to recording the show for our dedicated listeners who have been listening for over 5 years. Some of them.
Yes.
It's a long time.
Wild. Well, let's get into some follow-up. Corporations, public companies are releasing their quarterly results, and as if you couldn't imagine, once again, Apple had a record quarter.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the big tech companies have done well, especially this last year and a half, but they beat all the expectations. And iPhone even the kind of surprising thing is with the chip shortage, they were still able to keep on top of things, and their services keep growing, probably pretty much just because of Ted Lasso on the Apple TV Plus. But they are firing on all cylinders. Mac revenue's up, iPad revenue's up. Saw something today somewhere else that they are the highest profiting, most profitable company in the world, something like that. So yes, Apple is doing well.
Yeah, don't worry about Apple.
Others, yes. I will make a quick sidestep. I was at Walmart earlier getting a new electric frying pan, which I haven't tested out yet, so it won't be a pick of the week. I don't know how much time you've spent in a Walmart recently. It is, I'm going to say, frightening to see how empty the shelves are at Walmart. Yeah.
It depends on the day.
Yeah, Isla was there with me. Like the toy section, like half bare. The clothing section, it's like random things here and there. It's weird, but yes, some people are excited to see Walmart's empty. But I am a big fan of the Walmart, and lots of weird stuff going on in the world. But the tech companies, they're a-okay.
Well, maybe if Walmart would stop treating every customer like a criminal as they walk out the door, and you walk through the self-checkout, the guy's looking at you, you pay for the thing, you walk out, and he's like, receipt.
They never ask me for my receipt. The mustache comes across as very trustworthy.
Very friendly. Okay.
Yes, and you're kind of sketchy looking.
That's true. That's true.
It's kind of your...
I have that going for me.
Yes, your ambiance is sketch. Well, our other piece of follow-up, we had talked, it was a pick of the week, the Great Suspender, which is a Chrome Web Store extension, which automatically freezes all your tabs, which, looking at my two monitors right now, I have a lot of tabs in Windows open, but it just saves power, helps your computer run better. And then we had the story where there was some malware or something. It got pulled from the Google Chrome store. Easy for you to say. But the Chrome Suspender is back. And I've got a link in the show notes, or if you look for the Great Suspender Original in the Chrome Web Store, you can get that going in your web browser. I'm using it in the Brave browser. It'll work with any of the Chromium or Chrome browsers. But I find that very helpful because I keep a lot of tabs open, and I know you have found it helpful and others as well. So wanted to report back on that it is back in a new form. And if you use lots of tabs or windows on your desktop or laptop computer, check it out.
Well, yes, I'm the Great Suspender.
Yes, and not only does he sing for us, he brings us Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
So this pro tip could not be any simpler, but also could not be any more obfuscated. And kids, look it up if you don't know what that means. So, good friend of the show, I'm hesitant to mention him because he might be embarrassed of missing this one simple tip. But I've got to give a shout out to Tyler for the inspiration of this tip. He's at camp here with me, and we were, taking pictures and video with our phone, and he was Oh, it's so annoying to have to pinch and zoom. That's the only thing that I hate about zooming in with my camera on doing my video and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't really know what you're talking about. And so there is a way, if you knew this or not, Nate, to zoom in on your video footage and your camera footage in a much simpler way than pinching to zoom. Come on, that cavemen do that. Yes. So if everyone could get their iPhone or other iOS device out with me and open up your camera app, I will illuminate the situation for you. So let's go to photo, because more people, I think, take photos than they take video. And on my newer phone, it's got more than one lens in the back, but maybe yours doesn't. I don't know. But I've got a 2.5, I've got a 1X, and I got a 0.5. And let's say you want to take a picture past the 2.5. You're going to zoom way in. You click the 2.5 button if you have that on your phone, or the 2X on some phones, and then you pull your fingers apart on the screen to just zoom in a little bit more. That's the typical way that people do this. Well, if you want a speed function, if you press your finger on the area that has like the 1X or the 2X or the 2.5X, just touch your thumb down on that and drag up and down. Magically, a giant wheel will appear that is a jog dial for your zooming. And are you zooming right now with me?
Yes, I'm doing zooming.
Yeah. Were you aware of the jog dial to zoom in and out? If you just touch the 1X or 2X button and go up and down, it'll turn into this wheel. Well, Tyler was not familiar, and he just found it just infuriating to zoom in and out. I'm a little interested why you're just continually pointing the screen, the picture, at your camera at me. Like, what are you taking a picture of?
Well, we're
recording this on Zoom.
No, you're off on my side monitor, but
okay.
I'm on the iOS 15 beta, and so I was playing with the Zoom, and the overview for the Great Suspender Original was up on my screen, and the auto text, probably can't see that.
Oh, yeah.
And I pressed the little text button. That is going to be a huge feature. So it took a picture of just the text, and then I can drag a finger over it, select it, and copy it.
Are you sidestepping my pro tip of the week? This is unheard of.
I know. I got distracted. It's the injection into the pro tip of a iOS 15 feature that is going to be very helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yes, back to your zooming.
Yeah, if you have not visited the camera app recently in iOS, there are loads and oodles of wonderful features that you may be missing out on. We've covered many of them in the past. Maybe we'll cover more in the future, since summer is still right in the middle here. There's lots of beach trips and mountain trips and all those things happening. But to zoom, don't pinch and pull anymore. Pinch to zoom. That's caveman talk. Tap your finger on that area of the zoom, go up and down, and magically you can zoom in and out. And I will tell you, if you have a 12 Pro Max with the 3 lenses on the back, like Nate and I have, I don't believe you have the Max at this point.
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do? Oh,
yes.
Well, la-ti-da. But you can go from 0.5, which is the wide angle, clear to 2.5x without digital zooming, and it is quite fun to zoom in and out that far, and it becomes very useful.
Yes, it is nice. And one of the 100 tabs I have open is a video from Stallman, which is a photo guy that we really like, and he does a full breakdown of the iOS photos or camera app. I have not watched it yet, but maybe I will report back next week with some tips I pick up from that.
Yeah, and maybe for extra credit for those listening right now, you could post it in the show notes and they could get some early work done.
Yes. Well, on to our takes of the week. I had seen something about this and then came across some articles, and this one specifically saying Dell won't ship energy-hungry PCs to California and 5 other U.S. states due to power regulations. All of those states would be California, Colorado, Hawaii, our lovely Oregon, Vermont, and I believe where you are, Washington, right now.
Yes.
There are new power consumption regulations. So high-end gaming PCs, I think I saw it from Alienware, somebody had taken a screenshot, that you can no longer have high-end gaming PCs shipped to you in our state.
So that's very interesting. I wonder So it's because they don't want to put a burden on the power grid, or were there laws preventing this? I'm not sure.
Yes, it seems like gaming PCs aren't the problem.
No.
And I will remind people, we are the most nonpartisan tech podcast on the internet. But sometimes the laws and regulations that get put in place do not always address the source of the problem. They are just put into place because they're trying to do something. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know all the specifics about what percentage of the world's energy use is gaming PCs. We had talked before with crypto miners, that there's a lot of people worried about how much energy and electricity they were using. But yeah, I don't know.
Crypto miners far exceed anything that a gaming PC can do. And you can mine crypto on your gaming PC if you so desire, but I doubt that it's going to use much more electricity than if you were running a high-powered game. Now, maybe you're doing it longer if it's going 24/7, but still, yeah, I agree. That is not the problem. They're probably big corporations wasting millions of kilowatt hours of electricity in these states.
Yes.
And they shouldn't be picking on the poor 12-year-olds trying to play Minecraft.
Yes, and I guess the Tier 2 requirements went into effect July 1st, 2021. This came out of California, and the Natural Resources Defense Council at the time projected that the California standards will save more than 2.3 billion kilowatt hours of electricity a year, equivalent to annual electricity use by all the homes in San Francisco, and avoid 730,000 tons a year of climate disrupting carbon pollution from fossil fuel fired power plants. That was a mouthful.
I think what's going to happen as far as the gaming concern goes is those people will just buy their PCs elsewhere and use them in these states, and the states won't get any revenue from it.
Yes. Where there is a will, especially in the gaming world, there is a way. Just a quick another one that I saw. I believe we talked about it many, many moons ago in an app called TweetDeck. And Twitter is rolling out a preview of an all-new TweetDeck app. And now, again, I don't highly recommend Twitter, although we will be revisiting it in my pick of the week. TweetDeck gives you several columns where you can have different searches, you can have different accounts. So back when I used to be a lot more active on different accounts on Twitter, I'd have them all up, or you could have one column just for a hashtag. So if you're a power Twitter user, go to, I believe it is just tweetdeck.twitter.com, and you can check out the new version. I played around with it a little bit, but again, I need to spend less time on Twitter, so I probably shouldn't be using TweetDeck.
Yeah, I have several accounts that I don't use, and then of course we have our Not Nerd account in addition to my main account. So I would only ever have two up at a time, but it might be worth for me checking it out.
Yes, yeah, it's a nice. It looks nice. It's good that they didn't just kill it off, because I think there is a use for it. And something that I hope does get killed off. Facebook releases sound emojis in Messenger. So now can you not only sound emojis in your messenger messages, you can also send sound emojis, which will make sounds when the recipient receives them, which I am very anti-sound most of the time on my phone. And this goes right into that pile of things that I do not need in my life.
I can't think of anything less that I would want in my instant messenger than a bunch of weird sounds coming out of it when, I don't know, I'm in some meeting that's boring or something, and I open it up. It's like, Nate texted me, and I open it up, and there's this or something. It's like, sorry about that, everyone. I don't know who would use this. Kids, maybe? Maybe they're trying to get hip with the kids these days.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Facebook says it will update the newly launched library of sound emojis regularly. I read this article a while ago. It was sitting in my pile of articles to talk about, and it was a bit of a slow news week this week, so I put it in there. And so I've known about this for weeks, and I have had zero desire to check it out a single time.
Well, I can imagine the pitch meeting for that. They're sitting in an elevator. Someone's right in there with Zuckerberg up to the 11,000th floor.
Yes.
And they're like, "Oh, Mr. Zuckerberg, imagine getting messenger messages with sounds. We'll call them sound emojis." I love it. Ship it. I mean, come on. Who did this go through to get approved?
It's like his niece or something said, "For my birthday, I want sounds in my messenger emojis."
Maybe.
Yes.
That could be the case.
And it's what you would expect: clapping, crickets, drum roll, evil laughter, all to go along with the emojis. But
I think one of the reason animated GIFs are so popular is that they're silent. You can look at them, enjoy them, read them. You don't see people sending each other audio file or movie files, audio tracks on them. That would be a thing if it were wanted. Okay. At least I'm not alone in thinking so.
Yes, enough of that. This one was from Jared a while back, and we forgot to include it in a previous episode, but the U.S. sues Amazon for selling dangerous products. I don't think we've had a lot of different Amazon stories, but I don't know if we talked about this one.
I don't remember it specifically.
Yes. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says Amazon is selling hazardous products to its customers. The federal safety watchdog is suing Amazon to stop. Among the products cited in the suit are carbon monoxide detectors that fail to alarm, numerous children's pajamas that could catch fire, and nearly 400,000 hair dryers that could electrocute people if dropped in water, which apparently they've solved that problem in hair dryers now. I don't use one too often.
I think they have a fuse on the part that you plug in.
Gotcha. Yes, which is smart. So, yes, I think that is good to have safer products on Amazon as long as they don't go too far and take away, fun stuff like a money gun, that Todd bought or something like that.
Something crazy.
Yes. Well, our bonus odd take of the week this week. If you have been around computers since the 80s and 90s, you will remember something called Print Shop.
Oh, yes. I had this for the old Macintosh, black and white, the classic Mac, the Print Shop, and it could make banners on your perforated,
yes.
What is that, fan-folded paper? Dot matrix
printers.
Paper. Yeah. You could make it like a 9-mile long sign if you wanted to. It's incredible.
Well, if you go to theprintshop.club, you will be greeted with a website, and in the middle, a window will start loading, and it is a recreation of, I believe, the original Print Shop software, where you just kind of have the menu, and I mean, they are 8-bit graphics is generous on this stuff, and you have your different graphics discs that you can select. Back when you had to have different floppies for the different graphics, like the Christmas, and then you can create your greeting card, your sign, letterhead, banner, your Screen Magic graphic editor setup, or you can exit the program. So it is one of those nostalgic things.
And to give you a great idea of how much bandwidth I have where I'm at now, this page is not loading. Now, it could be my copious use of blockers and those type of things, but it just is loading. Please wait. So maybe sometime tomorrow I will check out this website.
Nice. Yes, the Print Shop, released in 1984, is a software package for the Apple II computer and others that allowed for the quick and easy creation of posters, greeting cards, banners, and other things. So this, I believe it was like 4th and 5th grade. We got some Apple II computers in the library that I mentioned 100 episodes ago, and I go in there and I'd print off the MasterCard logo, and I thought I was cool because then I had a credit card. But yes, and these are even pre 3.5-inch floppies. These were on 5 1/4-inch floppy disks
that actually flopped around when you shook them.
Yes.
And I bet you were the kid who made your fake credit card and tried to sell it to other kids.
Probably. I probably tried to get an extra chocolate milk out of it or something. Yep. Always looking to wheel and deal. But yeah, just a fun little website that maybe if you have kids that you feel are very spoiled with the technology in their lives, go show them what we had to deal with back in the day. But a fun little software. And you know what else is fun and you should bring the kids around for? Our picks of the week.
Now, I'm picking something that we've already mentioned here in the show, once or twice, is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now, why am I picking a phone that I've had since last September as my pick of the week? Haven't we already covered this? Everybody knows, it's like $1,000 phone. Of course it's great.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that I do media at this camp, and it has almost single-handedly replaced camcorders and other recording equipment. Anything you can imagine that you might have to haul around a camp to film children doing things and making a video of for their parents. I can do everything here on my phone. I've done a lot of slow motion video, and I can set the in and out points for the slow down part in photos. I can take nice 4K pictures and video if I wish. I mean, the sky's the limit. It's waterproof. I could stick it underwater if I wanted to. There's a water slide here, and I was not shy about getting it wet at all. So it's basically a GoPro without all the problems of a GoPro.
Yes.
And all the terrible video quality you get from the fisheye lens and all that stuff of a GoPro, and all having to plug in. Did they finally update from USB Mini on a GoPro? They had it.
I think they come out with a new version like every 6 months to try to keep selling the things. I think they might be on USB-C now. I have not kept up on the specifics of GoPro again because I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max, and I am not an extreme sports participator, so the iPhone is more than enough. And I have that conversation often as a video. I wish we could go in a time machine back 15 years and show like a Hollywood movie maker, anybody in the movie making process just 15 years ago, and say, this is what I carry around in my pocket that's also my phone and my internet device, and this is what I can produce. I mean, they didn't even have 4K back then, probably. But
mines would have been blown.
Yes.
But I basically, it's a video production suite in my pocket. I am using a computer to edit just because it's easier and I can do different things. But for video gathering, it is my number one machine. And the battery on this thing lasts a long time. I'm charging it in between, events. But it's so much easier to carry around than a giant camcorder.
Well, and even the image stabilization that's built in and all the auto processing.
The low light. Oh, my gosh. We have a Sony camcorder that has the night shot.
Oh, yes.
I prefer my phone because it's got the nice night shot sensor in it, or whatever they're calling it these days.
Yes.
So.
No, I strongly agree. And maybe it shouldn't be a pick right now because we're at the beginning of August, and hopefully next month we'll have the next iPhone, but use that as a motivation to maybe wait a month and get the next version and see what other improvements they can do. But the iPhone, all of the current iPhone lineup is just simply a phenomenal video and camera device. It's amazing what I can do with it.
Yeah, so, I'm taking great shots with it. It's like, is that a digital SLR shot or is that my iPhone? You decide.
Yes. Yeah. It's much easier and the quality is there. So I like it. Well, my pick of the week is kind of a weird one. I mentioned earlier Twitter and how I don't really recommend that if you're not already there to go start getting into the depths of it. But there is one account on Twitter that I found several months ago, and I get a kick out of it just because I do so much copywriting and, work on websites and edit documents for people and layouts and all that stuff. And it is called Typos of the New York Times. And this is the Twitter bio, and it's at NYT Typos is the Twitter handle. I am an appellate lawyer and persnickety dude. As a hobby, I correct typos in the Times, which no longer employs copy editors and consequently has tons of typos. It is mind-boggling how poor the grammar is from the New York Times. Now, a lot of them are their tweets that they do for an article or whatever, and they'll have some sort of typo in them. But he also goes into the articles and just finds these blatant typos. Now, I like this because I've done this. There was a newsletter I used to get. It was very popular. It was actually a previous pick of the week that I'm not going to mention. And he would have typos in there. And this is what he made his living off doing. Different guy, obvious. Well, possibly. Yeah. But I would screenshot his typos, and I had created a Twitter account that I quickly neglected and only did it a couple times. But when you think of the New York Times, and if his accusation is correct that they no longer have copy editors, it's like, how is that possible? I just can't understand how the New York Times, isn't it the paper of record? Is that?
I don't know. They're all trying to save as much money as they can. And so if they can cut a few positions and call it good, that's what they're going to do. And don't you know that journalists these days have to be copywriters? They have to be on-air personalities. They have to be cameramen and women. They have to be sound recordists. They have to be bloggers. Yes. They're just trying to squeeze every bit of. And so these poor people writing these articles, so they're a little bit light on the grammar.
Yes.
Can you blame them?
Yes.
I can blame New York Times, but the people writing the stuff, it's hard. But even today with Grammarly and some of the...
I know. I was just going to say, previous pick of the week, Grammarly, and the New York Times has a style guide of how they are supposed to write and do certain punctuation and everything. But they also, I don't know who it is, they do a post probably once a week of all the tweets that they got deleted because they pointed out the typos in them, and then they repost the tweets with the correction, because that's how glaring the errors are.
They're kind of like a watchdog group for the New York Times, it sounds like.
Yes. So it's very interesting. You don't have to have a Twitter account. You can just go to the link in the show notes, or just search NYT typos, and you can scroll through there without diving too far into the Twitter world. But it's whenever one of those pops up on my Twitter feed, it's just a pleasant little I gotcha. And I am far from perfect with my grammar, but I also use Grammarly, and if it's something important, have somebody else look it over, like my wife, who's excellent, or I've had you do it before, to improve my grammar. So,
yeah, especially if you run a newspaper.
Yes, one of the most popular newspapers in the world. But what do I know?
What do you know?
Not a whole lot. And so with that, we are going to wrap up this episode. Dave, we will let you get back to videoing and creating videos of the stuff from camp and having fun doing that with your iPhone. And I will get back to whatever I was doing beforehand. And the rest of you can get out there and tech better. Oh. No, you're humming again. No, you're humming again.
It's probably when I touch this cable. Is that doing it?
That's humming. That's humming. That's humming. Off. So thumbs up is humming, and thumbs no hum.
Okay, I'm gonna move. I'm hum. So still hum?
Yeah. It's not. No hum. No hum. No hum.